Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter, brought to you by yours truly, Bob McCarty. Decided to try and do something different tonight and bang out a quick episode for us. It's going to be a little bit different than my normal shows. Not going to have the what's in your water bottle, woulda racing, single track secrets, and questions from the fans. This weekend, what do we have? We've got the kickoff to the Florida State Championship Series 2025. Proud to say this is going to be my 31st Florida State Championship Series, and it kicks off the same every year in Tallahassee with a time trial on Saturday and the regular cross country on Sunday. Brought to you by Gone Riding Promotions. Gone Riding, an amazing company. Register at any point. I think right up until, in this case, I think right up until Friday night or 10 o'clock, you can register online. GoneRiding.com if you wish to take part in this race at Tom Brown Park. I'm definitely a little bit, I have a lot of knowledge at this park. Being that my career started in 1995, out of Tallahassee, I've probably done 1,000 laps at Tom Brown Park. So I got a lot of knowledge about that park, and I'm going to try and share some of it as quickly as I can with you today. Been on data for years now, and I pulled the data from last year's race and decided to break it down into segments for you guys to try and study. And hopefully it'll kind of help you out. The course doesn't vary a whole lot. Tom Brown is pretty much a straightforward park. Maybe one or two sections that might be a little bit more washed out, or they might have done some repair. So the times and splits, everything I'm going to give you is probably pretty close to what you can expect to run. One of the differences, if you go on to Gone Riding and pull up last year's results, you're going to see the time trial. The time trial was abbreviated last year because of the weather. The weather was absolutely horrible. Poured. Normally, the time trial is one entire lap of the park. Last year, we actually skipped the Cadillac Trail and the Fire Road climb, and then the Cadillac Trail. It was just too treacherous to try and get through. So if you look at the lap times for the time trial of last year, they're actually going to be cut a little bit short. Cross country was for the yellow wave, the cross country was perfect. For the white wave, I believe laps got cut back because weather came in and it rained again in the afternoon. So white wave, I think their laps got cut back by one lap, and then their lap times are probably off by a little bit. Morning wave, 9:30 wave, yellow wave, conditions were really good. So the lap times that I pulled are going to be pretty accurate. Man, I keep forgetting. Orcus Technologies, ESI grips, U cycling, POC helmets, Envy wheels. Man, I couldn't do any of this without them. Check out their websites. For ESI and U Cycling, use the discount code HLS2025 to get 20% off your entire order site-wide. All right, so we got Tallahassee this weekend, 13th and 14th at Tom Brown Park. Time trial kicks off, I believe, at 3 o'clock or 3:30 on, I think it's 3 o'clock. On Saturday. If you're going out for your pre-ride, I suggest trying doing the pre-ride as early as you can in the morning. Get off your feet, have a nice lunch, do a warm-up maybe 30 minutes before, 20 minutes or so before the start of the time trial. Here's one of the kickers with the time trial. It is based on your category, based on your class. So even though the start time for the time trial is 3 o'clock, doesn't mean you go off at 3 o'clock. So if you're planning to try and give yourself a nice warm-up, plan on a warm-up time based on when you think your respective class is going to go off. The elites go out first. So generally the top 10 from the prior year are going to be the call-ups to the first ones to go. So they can get a pretty good warm-up knowing that they're going to go somewhere between 3 o'clock and 3:10. I believe it's actually 30 seconds or so that they let us off. Your time starts when you go under the chute. Since it's electronic scoring, we'll start maybe 30 or 40 yards from the start, get waved through. Once you go under the chute, your time actually starts from there, and then you head on the course and go. Piece of advice about the time trial: you should never be comfortable. If you really want to do well, you are on the verge of crashing almost the entire time. Funny thing is with the time trial also, your actual time, if you take a look at some of the time, you can't do it for last year because of the weather, but if you take a look at the time trial times, generally the top guys are going to run that time. On Saturday, we're just doing one. Generally, the top guys are going to actually run 4 of those on Sunday, and not necessarily negative split, because Tallahassee is prone to have positive splitting. Just because it's the first one of the year, everybody's gung-ho, everybody's ready to throw down, and I think you generally go out a little bit too hot. Burn yourself on 1, 2, and 3, and then by the time lap 4 comes, the reality of everything kind of kicks in. So again, Tallahassee, Tom Brown Park, the kickoff of the Florida State Championship Series this weekend, September 13th and 14th. Let's take a good look at what we've got, or what I've got for the breakdown of the race. Again, I'm going off of my Garmin, which Garmin works off a satellite. I don't have a wheel sensor. Don't beat me up over times. This is what I produced last year at Tom Brown Park. Weather, by the way, I think is going to be perfect this weekend. Supposedly 60s, low 60s in the morning, no rain, very little chance of rain, and somewhere around high 80s in the afternoon. So we should have some great racing this weekend. All right, Tallahassee has a downhill start. We has a mass start based on your category, and it's a downhill start. Veering at the bottom of the downhill, it's going to veer a little bit off to the left. There used to be a gate. They pulled the gate and parking lot off on the right side into some single track, and then across the famous creek crossing. Based on the weather, the creek should be almost dry, not that big of a deal. And at the end of the creek, you're going to make a right onto a fire road. That section from the start to the fire road right-hander, you're looking at 0.34 miles. And in my case, it was about 1 minute and 20 seconds to get on that fire road. Max speed of 28.4 miles per hour came in that segment. 28.4 miles an hour came in that segment. All right, after you go over the creek crossing, you're hanging right onto a fire road, double track fire road. This fire road is what's going to climb all the way back, all the way up. And I say up, there is some small downhills, but double track the entire time. For the most part, you're climbing all the way to the top of the Cadillac Trail where it pinches off into single track. So this fire road is 1.4 miles long. 1.4 miles long, and in my case it took approximately 5 minutes. So we had the first segment to drop onto the fire road at 1:20, 5-minute climb. The elites maybe a little bit faster, the other classes obviously a little bit slower, but this kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect, what kind of effort you want to put in, knowing that it's about a 5-minute. At the end of the 5 minutes, the double track turns to single track, and then you're on to what we call the Cadillac Trail descent. Cadillac Trail descent all the way back down till you cross over the bridge. You'll see when it all ends, you're going to go onto a bridge. Cadillac descent is actually another 5 minutes long, and it's about 1.2 miles. Fast. One of the things about the Cadillac descent is there's splits. There's left and right splits. Years ago, probably 10 years ago, we used to try and memorize, and it was like left, left, right, right, left. Based on the way it's been going for the last few years, believe it or not, the trail will actually tell you. You don't have to worry so much about trying to remember. I believe there's one turn that gets questionable in there, and I think it's a left, but you'll know better on race day. The trail will tell you. And what I mean by that is simply as you're bombing down the single track, take a look. One trail is going to be very well defined. The other one's going to have maybe some leaves on it, some rocks, things that are going to kind of tell you that you should not go that way. And by the way, if you happen to take the wrong trail, there's one of them that's pretty significant. And my definition of significant is you'll probably lose anywhere between 3 and 5 seconds if you take the opposite line. It's not the end all be all to winning or to losing the race or losing time. You can make up a lot of time at Tom Brown Park. All right, we get down to the bottom, cross over the bridge. Once you cross over the bridge, this next segment is actually the bridge is kind of going to be the lowest point. This segment's going to take you up a fire road and then into single track. My definition of the end of this particular piece of single track is called the wall berm or the heckle section. You'll know when you're there because it is a massive wall wood berm, and a heckle section you can hear them people screaming forever. It's actually quite a lot of fun. Ryan Woodall and I had an amazing experience there together. I think I ran high, he ran low. We dropped into it, and the fans were going crazy. It was an absolute blast. I think this is probably, hell, if I had to guess, 10 years ago that we did this. So from the bridge at the bottom of the Cadillac Trail to the wood berm, you're looking at about 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Again, this was the time it took me to do it. 6 minutes and 50 seconds to get to the wood berm, and it's about 1.2 miles long. So we got the start to the fire road, minute 20. Fire road to the single track at the top of the climb for the Cadillac Trail, 5 minutes. Cadillac Trail descent, another 5 minutes. The bridge to the wood berm, from crossing the bridge to the wood berm, you're looking at another 6.5 minutes, 1.4 miles. All right. From there, we're going to talk about going after the wood berm to the flow trail. It's actually it's a kudzu trail. It takes you back up to one of the higher points of the park. Off to the left side is a flow trail that we've used it in years past, but haven't used it in a long time. You're going to come around the top side of this flow trail. It's going to look like a big gully on the left side, but there's jumps and berms and tabletops, everything inside there. So from the wood berm up to the top of the flow trail, looking at about 2 minutes. 2 minutes to the top of the flow trail, it's 1.4 miles. This is all single track, and it actually hurts. Coming off of that wood berm, quite a bit of climbing, all the way back up to the top of the flow trail. From the flow trail, you're getting back into another piece of single track. The single track is going to end with you're going to hang a right, and then another climb with an RC course off on the left side. So we're going to go from the top of the flow trail over to the RC course, about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, 0.88 miles. And then from there, you're going to hang a left just after the RC course up to the finish, approximately 30 seconds. That's the time to go. All right, so we got the start to the fire road, minute 20. Fire road to the upper single track of the Cadillac Trail, 5 minutes. Cadillac Trail descent, another 5 minutes. Over the bridge. From the bridge to the heckle section of the wood berm, 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Wood berm to the top of the flow trail, another 2 minutes. Flow trail to the RC course, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. RC course to the finish, another 30 seconds. My race last year, I wound up doing it. My lap times were about 24:35, and it was 5.6 miles. Final thing is about 205 feet of elevation gain. 205 feet of elevation gain. that's what we have to look forward coming up this weekend. Again, I was just trying to get this out as quickly as I could. Who's going to be your pick for the elites this year? Is Victor going to be able to do it again? Is Ryan Woodall going to be able to take him down? What about Angel? You think Angel's got a shot? Kid hasn't won it yet, but man, he's looking strong. Jacob Zimmerman, that's another guy that you can't rule out. Braxton is always good. My guy Marco Carey, very good. Julio, Allison, Gilberto. I know I'm probably forgetting a bunch of fast guys, but you never don't count anybody out. All the training, all the hard work this year is about to come to fruition. We've got about 4 days until we get together at Tom Brown Park in Tallahassee for the kickoff of the 2025 Florida State Championship Series. Again, thank you to my sponsors, Orchist, ESI Grip, U-Cycling, NV Wheels, POC Helmets. I appreciate each and every one of my sponsors, and I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting. Please click the like button, subscribe, and share. Once again, have a great training week. Remember, you're not going to have any gains this week, but if you work too hard, you're going to get yourself affecting on the weekend. All the hard work is done. Get yourself prepared for Tallahassee. Florida State Championship Series Round 1. Time trial on Saturday. Cross country on Sunday. Log on to goneriding.com. Register today. Or register Friday night. But again, thanks for watching. I'm your host, Bob McCarty. Another episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter. Next week, I'll actually have a course breakdown after. Unfortunately, it's after. I'll run my GoPro, have some good footage, and get back to the normal show. Also going to interview the winner of the Elite Male and then the Elite Female. And hopefully got some exciting things. And I'll also do a breakdown of Jacksonville. Following weekend, we're going to be up in Jacksonville. I'll do the exact same breakdown again. Hopefully the course is about the same, even though they flip Jacksonville. Once again, thanks for watching. I'm your host, Bob McCarty. Have a great training week. See you all in Tallahassee in a couple days. Thanks for watching.